Welcome. I'm Meredith, and this is the Oasis Spiritual Empowerment Tarot. And today I have some really exciting mail. I actually got this the other day, and I should probably get scissors. I have been battling a double ear infection, and one ear is really painful. And I just wasn't up to filming this for a couple days, and it took a lot to wait because I'm really excited about this. Now this is not like a brand new deck. It's it's not super old, but it's been around for a little while. So let me pull this out. So this is the Nameless one by Zia Hunt. And I ordered the deck and the book, which looks gorgeous. So I'm really excited about that. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you know I'm not super keen on guidebooks. But this is a bit more than that. So, and it's packaged really well. So we're just gonna use some scissors here. Now, when this deck first came out, I was aware of it, and I took a look. And I should say, so, I'm pretty sure it was our first tarot deck, Children of Litha. Seems to be super popular, and it is a deck that I really, really want to like. The backs are insanely gorgeous. The artwork is beautiful, but it just doesn't appeal to me, you know. And I've watched so many flip throughs and reviews trying to make myself want it, and that probably sounds silly, but I just love the backs. But ultimately, I really don't think that that's a deck that I would use. Just my personal thing. So she recently launched a new Kickstarter for reading cloths, and I was super excited because one of the choices was basically the back of the tarot deck, and I love this so much. So I backed it, and I added on a few things, and when I saw this, I thought, you know, maybe this is a deck that will appeal to me. But look how I mean, this is just fabulous quality. But again, I remember when this came out. I'm pretty sure it was on Kickstarter. And I kind of glanced at it and wrote it off pretty much right away. Oh shoot. This is a huge, huge book. Can I just tell you, it's huge. And I love that. And I'm not gonna spend a ton of time with the book, but I just wanted to kind of show. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful book with a bookmark. So, and we'll get to the cards in just a sec, I promise. But the cards basically all have these big sigils on them. And I'm kind of funny about sigils. You know, essentially I'm like, well, I just make my own sigil. I don't need somebody else's. It's kind of snotty attitude, really. But you know, that's kind of my feeling overall. So I really dismissed this out of hand because of that. But then, when I was looking through her Kickstarter for the spread cloths, I took another look at this deck. And well, not even it. You know, it was a possibility for an add-on. You know, there was an option. And I am an instant gratification kind of person. So once I decided I wanted to really try this out, I went to our site and it was still available to purchase there. So rather than wait for the Kickstarter, I just bought it. And this book is so wonderful. I mean, I love the aesthetics of it. It's fabulously made. And I look forward to diving in. So let me give you just an idea anyway. There should be, I imagine, a table of contents. So it does give you an introduction to the tarot. It talks about tarot tradition, oracle and omens, sigils and shadows, a word about rituals, correspondences, sun and moon energy, suggestions for working with the deck. And then it goes into the deck itself. Then we have probably about 100 pages talking about additional information. So it's got spreads, sigil magic, sigil affirmations, magical correspondences, astrological correspondences, zodiac constellations, and it goes on and on and on. Numerology, spell work, symbolism, psychology of color. So there's a lot of information in here. And this is a deck, or this is a book that I will read. I will read it. So now, and this came with it too. Let's see what this is. Maybe. Now, I will say that when I was looking into this deck, trying to decide whether or not I could really work with it, I noticed that, oh look, there were a fair amount of unboxings already, but I didn't see any videos. Look at that. That's lovely. I really like that. I didn't see any videos on, you know, how they've worked with the deck, like, over a period of time. So this is huge. It does have oracle cards too. Beautiful bag. So what I'm thinking is that after I've given myself some time with this deck, I may do a video if you're interested in, you know, how I've worked with it and what that was like, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, because again, I didn't see anything online regarding that, and to me, I like to see how people work with decks, and I feel like that helps me get a feel for how I might, you know, whether they had a positive experience or not. It just gives me additional information. I guess I should have opened it like this. So this is a big, I mean, even this book is pretty huge, really. So So these are the backs, which are super gorgeous. And oh, the cardstock is wonderful. Now these are big cards, which I like. So compared to what's probably a standard tarot size, significantly taller and wider. So I'm going to tell you, I know virtually nothing about this deck, because again, the only thing I found were unboxings, and because to me that only adds so much into my decision process. I didn't spend a lot of time with them. So and I do like to be surprised. So as you can see there's no title, there's no number, there's no nothing. So I think that this is a deck that, I mean, it depends on how you choose to use it. Oh, I should say too, they have that beautiful matte black edging I really like. So in theory, you could just read this almost like an oracle, right? Forget about the tarot aspects, just jump in intuitively and not concern yourself with what this is. Now, I mean, this is the Fool, and we could see that white butterfly moving in toward the Venus flytrap. So to me, this card speaks more of the potential dangers for the Fool, right? Than that maybe excitement. But again, this is just a first glance. And I think there are no people in this deck, but I could be wrong. We'll find out. But so we have the Magician. Now, I'm just wondering. I mean, it does have like an M. I don't know if that's purposeful or not. But I love the fox. And the High Priestess. And we have the scroll and the moon. And the Empress, right? We have the pomegranate. I like that there's a sword, you know, and it's not just about the softer side. And of course, it's Emperor. And the Hierophant. So we have the keys, we have the censer. So far, I'm not feeling a need for titles or numbers. We'll see as we go, though. So the Lovers, right? So to me, it's speaking more of duality than of choice. And the Chariot. Love that they're unicorns. I mean, potentially, I could see possibly, if you didn't see this, possibly wondering if this was the Chariot. I'll have to look more into it, but I mean, I think this, you know, strength. Oh, and I love, so he's got the barb through his paw. And he's asking the little skeleton rat, I feel like that's a rat with that tail, for help. And that takes great strength on both parts, right? It takes strength to admit that vulnerability, to ask for help, to be willing to receive it. And then to face what's probably a fear. I like that. And then the Hermit. Of course, we have the lamp. And the wheel. I almost wish I don't know, I feel like by using the snakes, I think it would have been a great opportunity to maybe have like that shedding of skin type of thing too. And we do have that swallowing of, is it himself? I mean, I don't know. So I'll take a look, but, and of course we have justice, and we have the heart and the feather, which is nice. And I like that the scales in the forefront and the swords in the back. Yeah. And then, oh, the hanged. So this must be like the hangman. So there's the hangfish. So he's caught on that hook. Oh, and death. I love this. You know, cutting the threads of life. And of course, we have the scythes and the sigil. So I'm thinking, and I could be wrong, but I'm thinking the sigils are going to help guide you as to what the card is as well. Now that I've said that, this is temperance. All right, I'm gonna check because I don't. Yeah, that's temperance. So, and you can kind of flip through the book and see the images. Okay. Yeah, so far this is the one that's the least obvious to me. Oh, the devil, right? And we have the chains. The tower. I love the way these cards feel. I think that must be the star. Okay, so we have, so this one is a little bit subtle. In some way, I mean that, I don't know, but I like that we see that it's smaller, right, for the star. It gets bigger for the moon and bigger for the sun. And, you know, maybe not as much with the coloring here, but I think here, and this is a very muted sun, but I like that. And this sigil does feel like sun. I think that if I saw this without any of the other cards, I might be inclined to think this was a moon. That's the only thing. But I mean, now that I know, I know. So, I mean, it's not a problem. But, oh, of course there is a huge star. I'm looking deeper in. But there is a huge star. So, that's on me. I love this moon. It's absolutely beautiful. And I like the sun. Usually I like the sun to be very, very bright and, maybe a bit fiery, but there's something special about it being muted like this, I think. So I like this. And Judgment. I mean, we have the trumpet and reaching up. And then, so is this, it must be, so this is the world. It's an interesting image. I like the sigil for it. I don't know. That's one I'll have to kind of think about. So now the Ace of Swords. The Two of Swords. Wonder if... So we do have... Right? So we have one dot, and we have two dots. I'm not sure if it's going to continue. But then there's three dots for the Three of Swords. But obviously you can count the swords. I love the use of color with this, and I really love this card. I think it's lovely. And the Four of Swords, and we do have four dots. This is an interesting Four of Swords. To me, the Four of Swords is generally about arrest, right? And with that gravestone, my first gut impression of it, to me it speaks of that death being just a pause, right? It's not an ending. It's just a pause in the cycle. Five, and we do have five dots, so, and again, you can still count. And the six. That's lovely. And the seven. You know what this reminds me of? This is gonna age me so much, or date me. When I was a little girl, there was this movie I loved so much. It's probably horrible today, but back then I loved it. Called Beastmaster, and he had two pet ferrets, and they were his little thieves. That's what it reminds me of. But there's only one. I feel like there should be two now. But so we have 8 for the Eight of Swords. And 9. So far the dots are keeping up. Look at that. Look at that face. Now with the 10. It's really interesting because at first glance it looks like a rib cage, right? But it's just the size. Huh. Okay, so now I think let's check the book. So for the quartz, we have masks. Sorry, there's like weird noises going on outside my house. So we start with the king. Right, so this is the King of Swords. So he's got the scales. I'm just trying to figure out what the differences are. I like the way the sword was incorporated here. So like at a glance, or maybe a deeper glance. So this is the queen. So I mean, definitely more of a feminine energy for sure. And we do have that, you know. And then we have the princess. So I'm gonna have to spend some time, I think, with the chords, because I don't know if there's like a really obvious way to tell the difference. Well, here we have the jester, right? So I mean, the jester is pretty clear. So it's more between the king, the queen, and the princess. Yeah, so let's pull these out. I just want to kind of see how they look compared to the next chord. So now we have Ace of Wands, and you know, I don't even know if they're titled. Right, so swords are blades, wands are branches, pentacles are coins, which, you know, I mean, it's pretty standard, and then we have cups. So just to, okay. So what did I say, branches? Oh my goodness, I think it's branches. So we have the Ace of Branches, and then one dot, and then the two, and we have the two dots. Okay, I'm not going to keep saying how many dots. The three, that's beautiful. Love that rooster. And the four. And the five. Oh, look at that, six. I mean, you can definitely feel that energy. So the seven. Yeah, I like that. and this may just be me and not intended, but you know, to me it feels like that Four of Wands down here, and then we kind of built on that and moved higher. You know, because it sort of looks like it could be, you know, that the kind of four, you know, that square. That also could just be me, but I like it either way. so this is nice. So instead of you know, a bunch of wands showing the speed, we have the deer. Now the 9. I like this. And 10. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Is he like bursting into the butterflies? I think that's what's happening. I like that. Yeah, because it's a completion. There's that ending, but there's also that new beginning. And that kind of overabundance of energy that's got to get released, right? Okay, so now, what did I say? So this should be the king. Oh, and, you know, okay, so I mean, there are hints at least. And the queen. And then this would be the princess. Now, I think for me, and this is just at a glance, I think the biggest thing is just going to be the queen and the princess. Right? Like if these were all shuffled and I pulled this, I don't know that I would know that's the queen. So now, do they have... I just want to see if the queens have some kind of common... symbol, device... And they do have their elements. So I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to really take a look at the quartz, I think. And kind of see, and maybe the book has some more information to help out. I love this ace. I love that she used the symbol from her other deck. I love this too. And I love that these are kind of, you know, diagonally across, right? But then the dots are even. You know, to me that speaks especially of balance, and that's usually one of the key takeaways I get from this card anyway. I just think it tends to be a message that I need a lot, and it shows up a lot for me. Yeah. And the dots are remaining consistent with the numbering, so that's nice. Oh, wow. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, so is this. And this, I really like this. Pentacles usually aren't my favorite, but this is so lovely. I love this for the 9. And 10. I think the rabbits were great. for a 10, because again, there's that overabundance. And you know, rabbits can be very prolific. So then we have the king of coins. And the queen. The princess. And the jester. That's beautiful. That's interesting. So for the Four of Cups, we have this Frog King guy. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, look at that 5. The 6, I love the unicorns in this. 7. Now this is interesting. This is very, very Thoth to me. It just, it's not quite as kind of degraded looking as the Thoth, but I mean, it speaks of debauch to me. 100%. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can get it really, really quickly. Here. Never far from my side. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just, I mean, it's obviously, it's not the same, of course, but I don't know. It just speaks to me, this. That's beautiful. Oh, I love this. I think it's perfect for the 9. You can just feel that. And the 10, how sweet is that? It's really lovely. And now back to these quartz. So we have the king. The queen. The princess. I'll look at her for Scorpio. And the jester. So now we have the oracle cards. So let's see. Just a quick So the suit of oracles relates to the ether, representing macrocosm, oh my goodness, macrocosmic and microcosmic connections. The cosmos quintessence, the space that connects the mind, body, heart, and spirit. It speaks to both personal experiences and those within the collective, thus resonating with an internal and external energies. It's what surrounds us both on a figurative, literal, cellular, and ecological level. So, again, there's no title, no number, no nothing, but you could find the image in the book, and then if you do, it does have a title. So in this case, it's the Cat King. Gives you an affirmation: I am my best self and the sole sovereign thereof. And then it gives you upright keywords, gives you like a paragraph, reverse keywords, and like a paragraph. So we're not gonna get all into it. Just to show you, this is gonna be one that it's gonna be really interesting to see what I pull out intuitively. And so I do, for the most part, prefer to work with a deck really just on its own at first without the book, just so I feel like my intuition's not being limited by anything. And then if I do go to the book, it's really just to kind of expand what I'm able to pull from the cards. Now there are exceptions, but usually it would just be more of like a peek, like if I'm just trying to understand, like I will be looking at the court cards just because I want to kind of understand what went into them and what things maybe I should be looking for. But I do want to spend some time with them first. So look at this. First thing I want to do though is notice my impressions, especially with the oracle. So I really don't want to look up meanings for anything yet. I just want to allow myself to feel. Once I am a little bit familiar with them and my reactions and responses to them, that noticing what bits stand out most of the time, that's when I'll start to look at meanings. And sometimes when I do this, I'll read the book and the meaning's so completely different, I may just kind of disregard it. Sometimes it's dead on. Sometimes, usually, I think there's a bit of both, which is nice because that's when it really helps me to expand. But instead of, I think when I first saw this deck, I thought that the sigils would get in my way, and I don't think that's the case. I do think that they help add to, I love this, to what I pull from the cards. So yeah, sometimes it's a matter of timing. Maybe, oh, look at that. Maybe it wasn't the right time for me when this first came out. Sometimes it's just me being wrong about a deck. And I think this could be the case. I mean, it absolutely could have been timing too, but I'm really, oh wow, look at that. I'm really, really excited to use this deck. And I think I could absolutely be wrong, because again, I have very little knowledge about this, because I didn't follow it. I didn't really, but I think the idea with the oracle cards, I mean, you can use them separately, but I think obviously do whatever you want, but I think you could also just kind of shuffle them in with the tarot. I think that initially I'm going to keep them separate, but I may end up moving them into the tarot. So I'm going to put these to the side for now. Let's see how they shuffle. So now that I pulled out all the court cards, but we're going to shuffle them back in. So oh, beautifully. Really beautifully. Now, I do have big hands. And yeah, like I said, this is a bigger deck. But, I think it's really, really easy to shuffle. And it just sounds nice, right? Now, I will say, though, so my hand reach is pretty big, and we're kind of just barely there. So especially if you have smaller hands, this may be a deck that you're shuffling overhand like this. Yeah, I mean, to me personally, I don't know. I might kind of go back and forth. I tend to do that with decks that are kind of right on the border of comfort in terms of how far I need to stretch out. But just to give you a feel for how the cards might interact with each other. I didn't do much of a shuffle, so let's just kind of take so I mean, it's a really, really interesting deck, and I think this is a deck that does, you know, kind of ask a little bit of time. But I also think that it'll be a very enjoyable period of time, and I'm really looking forward to that big book. Because as much as I don't necessarily like, you know, the guidebooks, I love books, and to me that's more of a book. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is this a deck that interests you? Do you have this deck? Are you working with it? And let me know if you'd like to see like a detailed kind of how I've worked with this deck and how it worked for me, how maybe it didn't. I feel like it's gonna, though. Yeah, because I do feel like this is a deck that deserves a more detailed walkthrough, and it doesn't seem to exist, as far as I can find anyway. But yeah, I'm really happy I got it, and I'm really, really excited to work with it. And yeah, check out our Kickstarter if you haven't already, because the spread cloths look absolutely gorgeous, and she's got dice and it. I went a little bit crazy, but yeah. So I'm really, really happy. I think this is a deck that, for me, is much more in line with my aesthetics and maybe even with how I work with the deck, compared to the Children of Letha. Yeah, so I'm really excited. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you're alerted when I post a new video. And I'm actually going to be posting a detailed, it's like a walkthrough of a deck later today. It's a very special deck. It's different from standard tarot, and it's about becoming and growing spiritually. So if that kind of thing interests you, definitely hit that bell and you'll get alerted. So until next time, be good to yourself, really good. Because you deserve the best, only the best, all the best. And that is my wish for you.